New data coming into the Weather Center on this first alert action day. Strong and dangerous storms are possible overnight tonight. We've got new data to tell you about. This is your first alert. You're not going to see this until noon on other stations, so please tune in. We've got a lot to talk about. That's coming up next on 9 News. And just as the graphic hints there, it is a first alert action day tonight for these strong storms. All right, we told you earlier in our forecast video about the strong storms tonight. However, there was some uncertainty on our last Futurecast model runs, and understand that when we look at these thunderstorms and analyze them from a computer model, it's just a model, and so there's some things that a human can predict a little bit better than a computer, especially when we have confusing atmospheric dynamics like today. There's a lot of different things that go into play for producing severe weather, and so we're going to talk about that now. Notice this line of very heavy rainfall. This band of widespread rain continues to push towards our area. It's going to continue to do so. It should be here in the next 30 minutes to an hour, and it's moving a little bit slower than I had predicted earlier, so I do apologize for that, but it's going to continue to head this way, and it's also trying to form a line right now of some other heavier rain just east of I-44. That's not what I want to get to. This activity should stay sub-severe, but once it moves out, things around here are going to get interesting, so let's talk about it. Here it is on Futurecast. Here's the new data coming in. So by 12 o'clock, Futurecast shows this activity crossing the river, moving its way in here. Heavy rounds of rainfall possible at times. As we continue to progress into the afternoon, though, we're going to begin to see that break at some point. I told you earlier 3 o'clock was my thinking. If that thinking is correct, that's not going to be good, because the tornadic environment that we need for sheared thunderstorms, that being those winds that change from the west to the southwest, then due south as you get lower in the atmosphere, that's going to happen tonight, and our models are finally starting to hint that and show it. So now I'm going to show it to you in a visual form. I told you earlier to not to be too concerned with the placement of that, and that storms could, anywhere that form tonight, will have the potential for rotation, large hail, damaging winds. That's true. Notice Futurecast now showing storms popping up in Mount Vernon near Festus, Missouri, and there's going to be more storms you see on this Futurecast model as we progress. So right now the latest timing is showing it moving through between, depending on where you are, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock tonight. By this time, you've got to be paying attention to the weather. You've got to have a way to receive warnings. 65, 70 mile an hour winds, quarter to ping pong ball size hail, tornadoes, and flash flooding are key concerns, and the flash flooding concerns are for areas that see any training of heavy rainfall, especially where a line can set up. So here we go, we'll progress it forward. By 8 o'clock, notice these storms. Look at that, near Carbondale right there. Don't pay attention to exactly where the storms are on here, because that can change. These storms can pop up 50 miles east, south, north, west of wherever they are on here. But what I'm trying to tell you is that when we see this on a model, it's telling us that the atmosphere is very conducive for rotating thunderstorms, the large hail, and the damaging winds. And it continues to progress a squall line of storms in southeast Missouri, pushes that into northeast Arkansas, northwest Tennessee, west Kentucky. So when I try to do these forecasts, I don't just look at the computer model. I try to pray about it, talk with God, because we're not perfect when we forecast the weather. I'll admit that. I'm a weather person. I get it wrong sometimes. That's part of the nature of science, and that's why we try to continue to update you on these situations and progress and get better. I don't like to eat my words, so that's why I'm producing this video right now. But understand, this is confirming my latest thinking that tonight could get very bad. We're not trying to scare you, and I'm not trying to hype the situation up, but I need you to stay alert, and I want you to stay safe. And that's why I do this, because I'm concerned about people in the community, the safety of you. So again, right now, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, strong storms possible, 60, 65, 70 mile an hour winds, large hail, very torrential rainfall, as much as 1 inch to 2 inches of rainfall rates per hour, with thunderstorms, deadly cloud to ground lightning, and of course the tornado risk, which we've talked about. Now let's continue really quickly into Futurecast. 9, 10 o'clock, these continue to progress into a linear mode, meaning a line, as it continues to progress into west Kentucky, northwest Tennessee, with damaging winds of 60, 65 there, and that'll track into Alabama and some other places overnight and into late into the morning hours too, when most people are sleeping down south. But again, Notice here, it's also continuing to show that in southern Illinois, this activity should be out by 11 and 12 o'clock. So that's the good news. That's the latest update I wanted to show you as we continue to progress forward. 2 o'clock, you see that rain there near Carbondale? It's very widespread. This is likely not going to occur. There may be some pop-up and isolated wraparound showers associated with this low pressure system that we have. That's possible. These shouldn't be as strong as the thunderstorms in the early evening hours. However, there's a possibility for some pop-up showers, maybe a rumble of thunder overnight tonight, late 2, 3 o'clock in the morning based on current data. But right now the severe weather threat looks to be over by 11 to midnight tonight. So thank you for tuning in. That's the latest update for you. We'll continue to track this situation throughout the day, and I go to work at 2, but I'll keep you up to date with anything I can pass along. Reporting in the Weather Center right now, Kay McFerrin with 9 News.